Hello, and welcome to The Art of Being Selfish. I am Dr. Sims, a licensed psychologist, and on this channel, I discuss different ways that you can take care of yourself or be selfish so that you feel nourished and filled enough to take care of others. Now, while we will be talking about topics related to mental health on this channel, this is not a substitute for therapy. So, on today's episode, I'm so excited to be continuing our series in honor of Mother's Day, The Journey to Motherhood, Fertility, Faith, Parenting, and Pregnancy, and invite another very special guest onto our show. So we've already talked about fertility, we've already talked about faith, and today we're going to talk about parenting, specifically being a selfish mama. We have a very dear friend of mine, Mrs. Erin Little, on the show, and she is just going to talk about what it's like to be a mother and still take care of herself while she's being a mother. She actually posted this on my Instagram a little while ago and just said, like, hey, let's talk about being a selfish mama. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation with her, and I hope that you all will enjoy. Okay. So thank you so much, Erin, for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to having this conversation about you being a selfish mama. You are actually a person that started the idea about this whole series, and so thank you so much for that comment on my Instagram post a little while ago. It was a great idea. So let's jump into it. Tell us a little bit about like you and, your husband, how long you've been married, your baby. Just give us a little background about you.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. My name is Erin, and I am 30 years old, and I've been married going on 4 years this summer. Mm-hmm. And my husband and I, we have a daughter, and she'll be 2 this summer. So I have been a selfish mama going on 2 years now.
Awesome. So, with that being said, tell us what being a selfish mama is. Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, I'll start by saying that it doesn't mean neglect your kids to go do what you need to do. Obviously, you make sure that your children or your child is taken care of before you take care of what mama wants to do. But in the words of Jody's mama on
Yes,
Baby
Jody.
Boy, mama gotta have a life too.
Hello. Yes.
And it's true. When I was pregnant and just trying to think about, what motherhood and everything would mean to me, I had conversations with my own mother. Mm-hmm. And of course you get tips and everything from your family. And, one thing that really stuck out to me was make sure you make time for yourself to do things that you like. And it's just little things. It's not necessarily big, grandiose outings or parties or anything, but just small things like if you want to go get some ice cream, go get ice cream, go get your nails done. And I've tried to carry that out because I've seen firsthand, I've only been a mama almost 2 years, but it's easy to lose yourself in that role as a mother, which is obviously an important role, but you still can't lose who you are at your core.
Absolutely. That's really good. That's really good that you were thinking about that. And I was actually going to ask you, like, is this something that you came up with just thinking about being a mother, or you talked about like your mom being kind of a model for that? Like, what other images did you see of that?
Yeah, talking to like my mom and my grandmother, my grandmothers, they're really big influences, and I can see how involved they were in their children and grandchildren's lives. But I think a big part of them was so invested in motherhood that they kind of, I don't want to say forgot who they were, but it's easy to lose track of yourself when you're trying to keep up with little kids running around. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of a big thing that my mother kind of enforced when she was talking about motherhood, because you enjoy all the little moments of, even poopy diapers and crying, and, like my baby, she's trying to talk and everything now. And it's like sweet, those little moments you don't want to miss, but sometimes mama wants to have a glass of wine and sit back and talk with her friends and not worry about potty training and all of that, because it can be overwhelming. And I know sometimes, like, I have moments where it's just like, okay, I need to take a breather, and I need to go do something that doesn't involve my husband or my child, that just involves Erin. So I think that, conversations with my mom and my grandmothers really shaped that idea.
So, give us some examples of some times where you've been a selfish mama, and like, what were people's responses to that? Like, have you ever gotten like negative feedback around the things that you do?
So, I think the biggest selfish mama moment was when I took a girls' trip to Barcelona, Spain last year. my friends group, we all turned 30 last year, so we decided that we were going to take a trip. And we planned the trip for months and months, and it finally came. And at the time, my daughter had just turned 1, and I felt like she was big enough where her dad could handle it. And we have family and a support system here, which is another important thing. But that was the longest that I've been away from her. We were gone for a week, and that was the biggest selfish mama moment that I've had so far. And it was a transformative experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was just really nice to just relax and be with my homegirls and drink and eat and stay out late, or just go to bed and sleep through the night. 'Cause that's what I did a lot of, was just sleep. Mamas miss out on sleep. Because babies wake up when they feel like it.
Yep.
Even when they sleep through the night, they still wake up on the weekends like they're going to school, So just being able to sleep in and relax and not worry about if the baby has what she needs, because, like I said, having that support system, I knew she was taken care of. So I didn't have to worry about that. But I'm sure there were some whispers about me taking a trip. I got a little bit of backlash, and for me, I just knew like this was something I deserved it. I work hard. I know I'm a great mom, and mama guilt is real. It's a very real thing, and people will try to make you feel guilty, even about the smallest things. And so I think having that confidence that, you're a great mom, and you deserve to have nice things and have trips and to go out. It's not like you're doing it every other week, but every once and again, it's okay to treat yourself.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm sorry that people have all their feedback to give you around that, but I'm glad that you still have that confidence in yourself to be able to go out and do the things.
I think that's a big thing with being a selfish mama, is that people are going to have opinions literally about everything that you do. If you ever look at a Facebook like mama group, a breastfeeding group, vaccination group, everybody has opinions about everything. And I think if you're confident and you are secure in your abilities, nobody's an expert. If somebody had all the answers, but nobody has all the answers. So I think we're all learning as we go. And I think as long as your child is taken care of and you're not neglecting your responsibilities, it's okay for you to go out and have some fun too.
That's fair. So you talked about a really big trip that you took, and that is awesome. I saw the pictures on Instagram, and I was a little envious, but whatever. Talk about like everyday or daily, weekly, kind of monthly things that you do on a smaller scale that are being a selfish mama.
Yeah, so definitely self-care moments. I count little things like, getting my nails done every 3 weeks. I need to go, tomorrow I'm going to get my eyebrows done. And just things like that you can do every couple of weeks, once a month or whatever, just to feel pretty, if you will. Because that's another thing, like it's easy to neglect necessarily going to get your hair done or taking care of the physical when you're running around after a baby. And I remember like that first 6 months especially, I was nursing, and so you literally have a baby hanging off you at every moment. And I just remember just not feeling like myself, and it doesn't take away, I love being a mom, I love my baby, don't get me wrong, but I just remember feeling like, okay, I need to make an effort to go get my nails done, or I'm going to get my eyebrows arched, and I'm going to work out a little bit so I can get back into shape, and just little things like that, just taking care of yourself so that you don't feel like you've lost yourself when your kids are 10, 15, 20 years old, and you don't remember what it's like to put on makeup or to do your hair. You only do it for special occasions,
That makes sense. I like that. Just remembering to be sure you're taking care of yourself on a regular basis. I like that. So when you think about your daughter, and obviously this will be a few years down the line, but when you think about like how she sees you, or maybe how she remembers you, like taking care of yourself and being selfish, what do you think that her thoughts about that is going to be?
Well, I think that for me personally, I've always had very strong women, very strong role models and examples of women in my life. And that's what I want to be for my own daughter. And, if and when the time comes that she wants to be a parent, I still want her to understand that you're still an individual and you can still get, little things that you want. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with your husband or your partner or your children. It's okay sometimes just to do that. because having a sense of self is very important, and being self-aware, it's important just to anybody, whether they're a parent or not. So I definitely want her to pick up from that, so that she too can have her own moments and take her trips or go get her nails done, whatever makes her happy. You know, just finding what makes you happy that doesn't necessarily involve or center around the happiness of somebody else.
And it sounds like those things can even be applied to like whether or not she chooses to be a parent, just like
Exactly.
general day-to-day life for her.
Yeah.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about how your husband, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but tell us about how your husband supports you in being able to be selfish.
So I think definitely having a support system is paramount in being able to be a selfish mama. My husband is a great partner, and I really mean that. I know some people don't necessarily have great partners in their spouses, and that makes a difference because, you know, I don't have to necessarily ask him, you know, if he sees that I'm tired or I've had a long day or a long week. I don't have to ask him to go get the baby. He'll take her and they'll go do something, or, you know, he'll get up with her, and it's just little things like that that really makes a difference. And also our parents, all of our parents live here, and you know, our grandparents are close by. Even our neighbor that kept our daughter before she went to school, you know, she's always wanting to get her too. So we have several people that if we want to have a date night or go out and do something, we can have people that we trust with our child, because that makes a difference too. And everybody doesn't have that, so I don't take that for granted at all. So having a support system is definitely important in trying to be selfish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What did he think when you decided you wanted to go to Spain?
You know, he was a little hesitant. I think primarily because I think as a mama, most of the child rearing responsibilities fall on you. And I think that's just the way it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And you know, anybody I think that has children, you think like, oh, you know, I'm gonna make him do whatever, but it's just a natural thing for you to be that nurturing caretaker for your child. And like I said, having a great partner that is not afraid to get in there and get dirty with you and change diapers and stuff helps, but you'll end up doing most of the work, especially if you're nursing or whatever that first year. And so he was a little apprehensive about it because it was a week-long trip. And like I said, that would have been the longest that I've been away from home since I had the baby. And but you know, he relied on our support system while I was gone. So my parents, his parents, his grandmother, they all helped him out while I was gone, and I think that kind of helped ease his fear while I was gone. So once again, that support system definitely came in handy.
Yeah, and so it sounds like, kind of leading into my next question, it sounds like having a good support system around makes it having a good support system around makes it a little bit easier to be selfish as a mama. So tell us a little bit more about some tips or some advice that you would give to mothers who want to practice being more selfish.
Well, I think we have to kind of get into the mindset that sometimes you put yourself first. I know you've probably seen a meme or something on Facebook that says, you know, if you have your husband and your child, whose plate do you fix first as the wife? And there's always a debate where, well, no, your husband is the head of the house and you fix his plate first. Or no, you take care of your children first and you make sure. Nobody ever says, mama's gonna fix her plate and they'll figure it out. Or maybe the husband's gonna fix my plate first. And it's never about the mother or mama putting herself first. And, you know, I always look at that and I'm like, we have to get out of that mindset that we don't deserve to be treated or taken care of, you know, outside of just on Mother's Day or on our birthday. And so I think you kind of have to demand that of yourself and demand that of other people that, hey, I need a break. I need to go do something outside of this house, outside of the family. You know, I love y'all, but mama gotta have a life too. So definitely tapping into your resources. And I know everybody doesn't have that support system. I mean, I know that for a fact. And I know it's hard to give somebody a tip when they don't have anybody to see about their children when they're trying to go off and get their nails done. But trying to find a reliable sitter if you don't have that support system, I think is important, because you definitely will drive yourself insane, I think, if you are only focused on mothering without focusing on yourself a little bit sometimes. So support system is really a big part of that. We keep going back to that, but it really makes a difference. I guess I've never really put that much thought into it, but it really makes a difference when you have a great partner, or you have, parents or aunts, uncles, people that can help you out, friends in town. It really makes a difference.
Absolutely. And I think that, like you said, encouraging people to actually tap into that support system as well, like not feeling guilty about saying, hey, I need support. Like a couple who are my friends, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but they just recently had a baby and they just wanted to go to the movies to see Black Panther, and so we were like, we'll come over and watch your baby so you can go to the movies. And so I feel like being able to ask for that help is also really important. So
being able to ask, I think too, some people might feel ashamed, like I'm less of a mother, I'm not as good of a parent, I should be there for my baby at all times. And even like I said, the guilt is real, even when people don't try to guilt you. But even tonight, I'm going out to eat after I leave here, and I'll sleep my baby in the morning because she'll be asleep by the time I get home. But I don't feel guilty about it because I haven't had a drink with one of my girlfriends since I came here. But before that, I can't tell you the last time I did. And just connecting with friends and just laughing, and I know my baby is taken care of, and I don't have to worry about that. And I don't have to feel guilty about going to have a drink or going out with my friends or doing something outside of the baby. So.
Yeah. And like you said, you work hard and you deserve it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm glad that you have let all of my mamas out there know how to be selfish. I appreciate you so much for coming on and talking about being a selfish mama.
Well, thank you. I'm not an expert, but I try. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to be back. I don't know what my next section is going to be about, but I can't wait to be back on the show.
Well, like you came up with this one, just let me know and you can come right on back, girl. So that's it. Being a selfish mama. I just loved having this conversation so much because I really do think that a lot of women get the message that you can't have a life, you can't do things, you can't enjoy your life once you become a mother. Like, a lot of people believe that you have to be completely consumed with your children in order for you to be a good mother. Well, I believe that you have to be a little bit selfish. You have to take care of yourself, and Erin thinks the same way. You have to take care of yourself in order to really be a good mother. So we really just want to thank Erin for coming onto this show and talking about what that's been like for her. I'm so excited for our episode next week as we talk about being selfish in the professional area of our life. So we have one more mama, soon to be mama, coming on talking about being selfish professionally and being a mother. And so looking forward to continuing this journey with you all. Make sure you come back and tune in, and I'll see y'all next Selfish Saturday. Bye.